Okay.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, Andrea.
I'm just checking if you can hear me. I don't have the best service, so I'm just kind of checking in.
You're coming through loud and clear.
Great.
Okay, we've got Josh Farmer, who I wasn't expecting. Mike Willie, who I was expecting. And Paul Arlinghouse, who I was expecting. So we'll do introductions very quickly as soon as we get a few more people here. Okay. Hello, Robin.
Hello.
And Fred Rollenhagen, who I was expecting. TJ also goes as Anthony Maltese.
Yeah, I've tried changing it on here before, but it always automatically goes back to Anthony. So here we are.
And Fred Rollinghouse, Planning Director. Hi, Fred.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Oh, let's see. We do not have Jillian.
No, Jillian's out of town, or yeah, she'll be back tomorrow.
Whose voice was that?
Josh.
Oh, okay, Josh. So you're handling the Zoom thing, huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense now. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got a quorum, but hopefully there'll be a couple of other people. And I know, Mike, you're in a bit of a rush, so we'll do this as quickly as possible, get over to you as quickly as possible. Let's just do it. Hello?
Bye.
Somebody's coming through. Okay, well, the first thing to do is do a roll call here. I'm sorry, there's somebody that keeps chirping in. That's I don't know if we. Okay, Tim Beeson is me, and I'm here. Judy Karnick is here. Robin Kovacs is here. Anthony TJ Maltese is here. And Andrea Sutilla is here. We have a quorum. Let's go ahead and call that good so that we can go to what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to section E, so that we can get a couple of our guests taken care of here. I didn't mention that we also have Paul. Is Paul still here? Yeah, Paul. Sorry, Paul Arlinghouse, who is our applicant for a new member of OSAC. Okay, that gone by, let's go over to section E, and let's see, Judy, do you want to introduce your guest?
The the guest is Mike Willie, and Mike is on the Manitou Springs Fire Department. And in the late summer, I believe, myself and I've got a name loss here. Who's in Mexico? I remember. But anyway, she and I went over to, sorry?
It was Nancy.
Right, Nancy. She and I went over to talk with Mike about all the properties we have and what we should be concentrating on as terms of fire reduction and management potential. So Mike has graciously offered to work this into the program he's working on anyway in objectives for that, and I'll turn it over to Mike.
Mike, are you gonna?
I'm here. Sorry. I was trying to find the unmute button. Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
I'm with the fire department. I'm lieutenant on the fire department. I'm now kind of overseeing for the fire department all the mitigation work for the fire department side of things. What I sent to Judy, and I think all of you guys have, I can pull it up here in a second, is what we have written into what will be published in our CWPP revision that should be done here very soon. We're in the final processes of that, of making edits, and then we'll be going to get signatures on it, hopefully here in the near future. That will be totally done for our second version of the CWPP. And the CWPP is a community wildfire protection plan. So basically it's a plan for the city and citizens of Manitou to read. It gives citizens ideas of what they can do to help protect against wildfire, what the city can do. Gives people ideas, and it also talks about like future goals for the city community, and in that, a big thing for us is the open spaces to mitigate those. Those are probably the city's biggest pieces of property that we have, and we want our biggest bang for our buck. So mitigating the open spaces would be huge for the community. Let me pull that up real quick, see if I'm savvy enough to do this. Can you guys see that?
Let me interrupt you for just a second. If you go to page 8 on the packet, that will be the start of Mike's slideshow here.
So basically, on this initial map is just what we identified as kind of our biggest pieces of property. I don't know if all of these are actually part of OSAC. The first one that we brought up, it was the Mesa Water Tower. I don't know if that's part of OSAC or not. No?
I don't think
No.
so.
Okay. Perfect. I'll just move on from there.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What parcel were you showing?
The up near the water tower.
Yeah, that's not part of OSAC yet.
Yep.
We're working
Okay.
on it.
So this piece that I just brought up is Black Canyon, and I've been in one meeting, two, and then the on-ground meeting at Black Canyon itself. But I did bring up in the meeting that if now that the open space is going to make this a public open space, that mitigation needs to be done in this parcel. The problem with a lot of these open spaces is getting to them. A lot of these would be a lot of handwork. In the Black Canyon, the wildfire hazard is very high. There's very steep slopes and there's two canyons there. Um, a good thing about this one being mitigated also is that Colorado Springs has just a property just north of there, and they are either mitigating it right now or it's done mitigating. I'm not totally positive on that.
Mike, are you talking about the quarry?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So now, just so you guys understand, mitigation is very expensive. I've seen prices anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500 an acre.
Cool.
So mitigation can be very expensive. The costs go up and down depending on how much handwork is done in these. If they can't get machinery in there to do the mitigation, then the price goes up. If so we also threw Iron Mountain in there. That one just because it basically comes right down onto mini residence, it would be an important one to also do some fuel reductions in there also. Now, I should start by saying that, this isn't going to be done in 1 year. This plan is good for up to 5 years, and that doesn't mean that all of this will get done in 5 years, but it's good that we address this in the CWPP that this is a priority for Manitou to mitigate these parcels. Do you guys have any questions from this? If you guys have read any of this, any questions about it?
Mike, I think you had someplace in here that I'm just scanning through it that the Iron Mountain was, oh, here it is, 43 acres. It's actually 99 acres now. So
Okay,
you're probably not picking up all the parcels there.
okay. I will, because we're not done with that, I would definitely change that in the CWPP. We threw Red Mountain in there. And then that was basically it. We just had a group mitigate Deer Valley in the last year, 2 years or so. So Deer Valley overall is pretty well. There's some small projects in there that could probably be done, but overall Deer Valley is in good shape at this point because all of that work got done in the last year, year and a half or so. I guess, do you guys have questions for me or anything you would like me to address while I'm here? Go ahead.
Mike?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see, Deer Valley, that was oh, what do they call it? The the young guys, the
Oh.
young guys and girls.
Renfrey,
Pardon me?
Renfrey or Rocky Mountain?
Rocky Mountain. Thank you.
Mhm.
That was Rocky Mountain that did that. Rocky Mountain.
Youth Corps.
Yeah, thanks. Rocky Mountain
Yeah.
Youth Corps.
We
They did-
have a DFPC now has a local, which is the Division of Fire Protection. They have a local crew in Colorado Springs. They came over and did most of the mitigation on their time, on their downtime during the winter. And then the youth corps came in and basically did a little more and then cleaned up all the slash piles and stuff
Mhm.
in Deer
Okay.
Valley.
Okay. So what do you think? This is important. What do you think of the work that the Youth Corps did?
I think they do great work. they're given a task and they get to do a lot of stuff, and they have supervisors that make sure that they follow through, and so yeah, they do great work.
Okay, thank you.
I
Go
have,
ahead, Robin.
I have a question. Which one would be the highest priority to do? I assume we would tackle one at a time.
Yeah, yes,
At the
absolutely,
highest.
absolutely. Just because of cost and manpower and all that stuff. In my eyes, I think with Black Canyon opening up, that would be the number one, just because it is in the process of being open, and um, mitigating it before it opens would be very important. My goal is to, once it is mitigated and once that piece is open, to kind of use it as a showcase to the residents of Manitou. And maybe we could put up some signs to talk about why we mitigate, the importance of it, how it reduces wildfire, how it helps the forest, stuff like that.
How artful can we be in this? As I was reading through that, and it sounded like a lot of trees were going to have to come down and stuff.
Yeah, we can, honestly, anytime mitigation is done, the first year it can look not the best according to a lot of people, just because a lot of things are taken down at that point, and depending on how you get rid of it. Um, but overall, in the scheme of things, things grow back super fast, because that's the way, without fire, that's the way the forest resets itself. So it's not like we would go in there and take every tree out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
There would be good pieces, and after it's mitigated, it looks pretty good after things have time to regrow, especially those bottom dwellers like grasses and stuff.
Hey, Tim, I've got some questions.
yes,
Um,
David.
I'm not familiar with the name Deer Valley. Mike, where is that?
That's in Crystal Hills,
Okay.
right on Crystal Hills Boulevard, and it abuts up to Craig Lane also. So Craig Lane, Crystal Hills Boulevard, and then Sutherland also would be on the other side of it.
Okay. Yeah, I've driven on Sunderland and seen it, but I haven't walked it. I think that a very big problem is the community's perception of what a fire mitigation project is going to look like. I'm remembering the very loud pushback from the Southwest Colorado Springs community when the city did the Stratton open space. And I really think we got to learn from that on how to provide some sort of visual estimate of what it's going to look like,
Okay.
because otherwise it just, well, I think it's just going to blow up. It's one thing for all of us to say, well, given Waldo Canyon, given Black Forest, given Palisade, given Paradise, oh yeah, we got to do fire mitigation. But then when you actually propose it or start it, the community or some members of the community will just absolutely blow up. And I just think we have to anticipate that and try to prepare our citizens for it. I really like your idea of perhaps doing Black Canyon first because it's smaller, it's more remote, it's visible from a lot of places in the community where so people can see it from afar. And but I think if you just started doing Iron Mountain, you'd have picket signs at your access point. I mean, I just think it will absolutely blow up in our community. So
Yeah.
I'm real concerned about that. So I'll just put that placeholder on the table and,
Yeah.
and be
The-
quiet at that point.
Yeah.
But thank you.
TJ?
Yeah, I just
TJ?
wanted to say something to counter what Dave was talking about here.
Yeah.
Most recently, we had fire mitigation along the Inniman Trail several years ago. And you're right, there were a few people that were kind of surprised by how the treated area looked right after it was done. But
Yeah.
within a year, we didn't hear anything else. No more comments about how it looked or anything like that. And so while we are going to have people in Manitou with different opinions on trees and how they should be treated and stuff like that, I think that between what Mr. Willie here talked about at his Kiwanis Club presentation a couple of weeks ago, with insurance rates being dictated by how
Yeah.
the community treats these areas around it. I think that while they have valid concerns about nature and such like that, there are other things that outweigh it, and we should really be pushing about how this is beneficial for all of us, even though there may be protesters, and there have been for various trees being cut down in the city before. And we've heard them, and we've moved on, and still accomplished a lot of these vital projects.
Well said. Very well said. Let me give two more examples. The fire mitigation surrounding Rampart Range Reservoir and some of the work that CSU has done, Colorado Springs Utilities, along the Pikes Peak Highway. And I think at least the city council, well, OSAC and the city council need to be real aware of what we're proposing and when we start it, so that they're not they're caught flat-footed. I agree with what TJ said, and nicely put too. We just got to be prepared for it, because we have a whole lot of acreage to do for all the reasons that Mike and TJ just went through. So okay, got it.
I'd like to add something.
Yeah, Judy.
Well, a couple of things. One is on the very last page talking about Black Canyon. It says that you can't get equipment in there that you need unless it's going somewhere across private property. Do we have any idea who owns that property?
Yeah, we know who owns it.
Sorry?
We do know who owns it. It depends on which direction you go, but it's owned by a lot of people, primarily Cedar Heights owns a lot of it to the north. Let's see, the Cliff Dwellings owns a bunch of it to the west. And the list goes on. There's about 5 or 6 different groups, including private persons that own that property. But most of them would probably give access. For example, I'm sure that Cedar Heights would give us access off their property, which possibly means access to the old wagon road to the north, which would maybe be adequate to get equipment in there. That's a good point. We need to check that out.
Okay. And my next question is, or actually it's not a question. It's actually for Mike, a refreshing of memory here. I think, Mike, when you and I were talking, or even maybe at the community meeting, talked about this concept of of making it easier for people to understand what was going on and what mitigation really looks like in these open spaces and how it will grow back by using the one you've already done, where the fire came and you guys, because it had been mitigated, you were able to get in there by the water tower easily. But you said that would be a good example. And
Yes.
I think that's, if we want to do something like that, we should do it on a piece that's been done, because there's obviously before pictures and after pictures. But on top of that, it's now people can see how important it was to get this thing busted open so they could get in there when, in fact, what did you say, a week after you got done, there was a fire back there? Mike?
Yeah, within a month probably.
Yeah. And that's how you got the equipment in there, was because it had been mitigated. And I would think that piece of property, a public meeting on it, or inviting the public or something like that to say, this is what mitigation looks like,
Yeah.
would be helpful because it's done.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, well,
The
it's going
problem
to
with
look like this.
the problem with where it's at is it's at our reservoir, which is a very lengthy drive, and also it would be a mile and a half walk in there.
Is there another piece like that that's more more accessible?
Not to my knowledge at this point.
Okay. So, okay. And then I did have, go ahead, if anybody else has questions, go ahead. I had a bunch.
Go ahead, Judy.
So if you're saying to prioritize, we would do the Black Canyon first.
I think so. With it
Okay.
opening to the public, this would be the perfect time to mitigate it before it was actually open. There's no reason to mitigate it after it's already open. That's going to make it even harder to mitigate it.
So, would there be a possibility, let's just say for sake of discussion, if we did go ahead with something at the Black Canyon, even this spring and summer, would it be possible to find a partner on this? Would that be the fire department? Would it be another OSAC group like Parks, or not OSAC group, but a city group like Parks, so that we could do some of this work supervised and get some of it done, and then say, okay, now, Mr. and Mrs. Public, we want you to see what we've got left and what that looks like and what this looks like. And this is why mitigation is important. Is that a possibility?
It could be. The parcel is so big, it would be hard for the city to do the mitigation work in there. The city only has so many people. The fire department only has so many people. We have 12 paid staff over 3 shifts, and our priority is emergency services. Not to say that it couldn't be done, but we might be able to get some group to come in there and do a small section of it.
Is
But
that something REMFE does? Or there's fire mitigation folks that do that we could partner with?
yeah, there's definitely groups that do fire mitigation. There might be a possibility of getting the Mile High Youth Corps back, or a group like that to come in and do a small section of it.
And can those groups, I mean, is it, I would say, allowed? Is it possible to get to, or can it be done that volunteers from Manitou could also join that group to help with hands-on stuff, which is what you talked about Black Canyon?
I'm sure there are, probably not like running, saws and stuff like that,
Right.
like
But
moving
hands-on.
slash and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
David, did you have something?
Well, is there a list of contractors, Mike, that your office has? Because I'm not understanding how we initiate this, how we support it, how we try to push it. I'm lost. I'm sorry.
I mean, what usually has happened in my limited mitigation experience is you decide what you want to mitigate, and then you reach out to contractors and get a bid, and then they come in, and then you pick whichever contractor you want, and then they do the mitigation work.
Okay.
I think Andrea has a question.
Hands up.
Yeah, Andrea.
I do have a question. Sorry, my video is off because bad service, but I'm pretty sure that Colorado Springs Fire Department has a lot of money for fire mitigation stuff because of the TOPS retention or Tabor retention, yeah. So it's my understanding that they would maybe be very helpful in collaborating with Manitou Springs Fire on a lot of this stuff. So I'm just wondering if you at all are talking to them, or if that's something any of us could help with.
What I do know is Chief Buckmiller has been asked to join this Chiefs group. I don't know a whole lot about this, but he did mention to me that they had a certain amount of money, and when he was in that group, he was going to push again to try and get money from them to mitigate this Black Canyon open space. Whether that comes to fruition or not, we'll see, but we are working on that aspect of it.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Can I ask,
This is, yeah, go ahead.
can I ask a resident question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was told that if you had any bare wood, to at least get it stained, and that helps with the wood catching fire. Would it be better to be a fire retardant stain, or does it matter just as long as it's stained?
As long as it's like moistened, the wood siding, as long as it's somewhat moistened and not like super dry will help. You know, obviously it's not gonna like fully protect from fire, but that's the best thing you could do for like a wood siding or anything like that. Obviously, we always recommend stucco, but that's a lot of money. So keeping your wood siding as I guess moistened is the right word as possible. That's the best thing. If they do have a fire retardant stain, absolutely.
Oh, that might be better. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I'm sure we'll have a bunch of questions as soon as you're out of here, but I think we all appreciate your coming down and taking the time.
Yeah, of course. And just I guess more news. I am meeting with all the departments in the city this week. Fred will be in it, Roy, Jillian, just so everybody in the city is on the same page of what everybody else is doing mitigation wise, so everybody is all together and knows what everybody else is doing. So that's something we're working on also.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, Tim, I guess I do have another question.
Yeah.
So, like, if I assume that it's OSAC who would be the ones to say, okay, we need to do fire mitigation. It's been recommended to do Black Canyon first, and the everything would start with OSAC, and that OSAC would go to some of these Mile High youth groups to start the work, and we would work with the fire department with you and exactly what should be done. Is that right?
Yeah, in a way, like it also could be generated from us also. You know, the big contributor in all of this is money. We as a fire department have $50,000 mitigation money for the year, but this year we are doing a like resident grant program with that money, so people can get mitigation work done on their property, and we can help pay for part of that in hopes of people doing more mitigation on their property. But money is always the big thing with mitigation.
Yeah, Judy, I think OSAC's going to have to pick up a lot of this bill unless we can get grants, which might be possible. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, grants for fire mitigation. There may be a lot of those out there.
There are. If I see any, I'll send them to your way or let you know if I'm starting to put in for one or whatever. But this for us as the city, getting done with the CWPP helps us put in for more mitigation grants.
Yeah, because you have a plan to present.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Go ahead.
I just said thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
We really appreciate you taking the time to come out here.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
All right.
If you guys
Oh,
have
we
any
got that on
questions
tape.
or would like me to come back or whatever, just let me know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Let's move on to our. I'm sorry. To Fred. Is Fred still with us?
Yep, I'm here. Can
Oh, here you
everybody
are.
hear me?
Yeah, the planning director, Fred Hagen.
Yeah.
Fred, you're on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I think this is the first time I've presented anything to OSAC, so it's my pleasure. I'm glad to meet everybody. I've been here since, for those of you who don't know me, I've been here. I've been working for the city since April, so I'm coming up on 1 year, and it's been a great experience so far. Um, Essentially, so I didn't provide any exhibits or anything for the packet, and I apologize for that. We've been putting maps together and putting staff reports together for this rezoning effort for our planning commission, and we finally got some maps together today, and we're doing some other things this week. So I do have a map that I can pop up here if that would be helpful, and if we need to drill down into any specific parcels that anybody has questions on, I have some information on that. But
That would be helpful.
very good. Yeah, so this is just a little bit of background. What we're doing is we are going through and identifying right now identifying all of the city-owned parcels that are not zoned appropriately or that are not zoned for what they're being used for. And then going through that exercise of rezoning the parcels to one of three things, either open space. There is one parcel that we're proposing to rezone to parks. It's parks property. And then there's about 13 parcels that we're proposing to rezone to public facilities. They are various public facilities that for one reason or another had never gotten rezoned when they were acquired. And so,
Fred, are you displaying that map?
no, not yet, not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Let me do that right now. Okay, can everybody
Oh, good grief.
Yeah.
see this rezoning map?
Yep.
Yeah, it'd help if you was drill down in a couple of places.
Yeah, yeah. So believe it. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to see here, but we've got we are rezoning about 45 parcels. There's about 45 parcels that we're proposing to rezone to open space, and you can see those on this map in the dark green color. Some of them are fairly large, like this one over on the west side, on the other side of the water tank. And then also up on Higginbotham Flats and along Serpentine, you can see those pretty clearly because they're larger parcels. But there's a lot of little itty bitty parcels in the neighborhoods that are also that we're also proposing to rezone. So yeah, like I said, there's about 45 of them that are proposed to rezone for open space, um, and and that's what you see in the dark green. Where there's one parcel here, and actually I think it's 7 Minute Spring property just behind City Hall, off of El Paso, where it was actually split zoned. Part of the property was zoned as park. Part of it was zoned as a residential zoning district. And so we're cleaning that up by making sure that the entire property is zoned as park. And then what you see in blue, the little parcels in blue are being proposed to be rezoned to public facilities. So this, like I said, this includes, let's see, going from the east side of the city, you have some these larger parcels squashed between the Crystal Park area and Crystal Hills Boulevard. We're going to propose to rezone those to open space. This also includes the newly acquired property off of Burns Road, just south of Highway 24, that the city had finished, actually, that the finished had city had finished acquiring over the summertime, I believe. Those are in this group. Like I said, the other larger parcels include, well, let's see. The other larger parcels include the property over here at Higginbotham, as well as Serpentine, and then a larger parcel over here on the far west side of the city. There are a few parcels that I think are still under contract that still have not been transferred yet. Some of those parcels are I believe, going along the Intamin Trail, but since they haven't been actually formally transferred to the city yet, they're still en route. They're still going through that process. But since they're not being transferred, or since they have not been formally transferred yet, those are not part of this exercise. One of the things that I want to explore while I'm here is setting up kind of a quick protocol for in the future when the city does acquire property for whatever reason, that we go ahead and do the rezoning exercise at the time of property transfer, at the time that we take it, so we don't run into this issue where we have upwards of 60 parcels that have been left not rezoned as we've been acquiring them over the years.
Hey, Fred,
Yes.
have you seen the odd lots document that OSAC put out?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you might find it interesting.
That'll make you laugh.
Pardon me?
I said, that'll make them laugh. It's huge.
Well, anyway, you might want to take a look at it.
Okay.
I'll make a note to send that to you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
If nothing else, it'll give you an idea of how we might converge, you know, all of our data. I'm sure you have more data than we do. You're talking about 60 lots now. I think we only found 30 some lots that were odd lots. So I'll send it to you. It might be of use. It might not be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see, but yeah, other than that, in terms of schedule, we have this scheduled to go to Planning Commission for rezoning in March. It's going to be the second Wednesday in March, so that's March 12th. And then we have and they'll send a recommendation on to City Council. We've got the first reading for City Councils is planned to be the first Tuesday in April, which I believe is going to be, when is that? Oh, that's the first. That's right. That's April 1st. And then the second reading is planned to be 2 weeks from then, during their third Tuesday meeting in April. So yeah, that'll go through first and second reading. We are with the rezoning exercise. We are required to notify by direct mailing all adjacent property owners. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of properties that are going to get notified. We've identified about upwards of around 500 property owners that will be notified.
gosh.
So we're getting ready to make sure that we can answer any questions that the public has about this. But right now, like I said, it should be a pretty straightforward exercise. We don't foresee much controversy in the in these rezonings, but you never know. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what comes of it.
Hey, Tim?
Hey,
Tim?
David.
Yeah,
Yeah.
may I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, Fred, on the map, can you identify we got the purple rectangle and the red rectangle. What do those signify?
Oh yeah, so the purple and red rectangles are just they're inserts that actually they've been blown up on the bottom of the map. And so the red rectangle is the rectangle on the left side, the lower left side of the map, and then the pink rectangle is what you see just kind of below what you see as Iron Mountain, and so it's just a blow up showing a couple lots that are very, very small that are proposed to be rezoned.
Yep, thank you. I tried to do this on an iPad and that didn't work. I tried it on my wife's iPad and that didn't work. So I'm doing this on my phone, so I have to laugh. I see it now. Thank you, Fred. Appreciate it.
But can I ask, in this pink rectangle,
Mhm.
there are tiny little lots around other tiny lots, and they're on both sides of Highway 24. I'm just confused why there are tiny little lots in there. Is there an explanation to that?
I don't know the history of I don't know enough about the history of the development of Manitou to really have a good answer. But my guess is those lots are old subdivision lots that were subdivided at some point in history, probably before probably before Highway 24 cut through. I could guess that those lots were subdivided all at the same time and included land that was acquired by the highway when 24 was cut through. And so this is one of those cases where the highway bisected a subdivision of some kind. I don't know how many homes are up there right now. I could do a little bit of research, and I wonder if some of those parcels are already owned by the city and might even already be zoned as open space or something else. So that's one thing that this map does not show is the parcels that are already owned by the city and already zoned appropriately.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, I can talk to that a little bit. It used to be when OSAC first started out that anybody that wanted to get rid of a lot, they just decide to zone it open space and give it to the city. And we accepted them without much concern for where they were. We were happy to get the open space, and we ended up with a lot of odd lots. And that's why we have a document that's called Odd Lots that goes in and takes a look at all of those. We're trying to get away from that a little bit so that there's some discretion on whether or not we take a piece of property or not into open space.
I have a question, Tim.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Judy.
don't know if it's for you or Fred, but at the top of the map where there's that big narrow kind of triangular going down piece and then a piece going to the east, is that the whale's tail? Because that's 24.
Are you talking about I'm trying to point it right.
it-
Is it this
Yeah,
one?
and that little attachment, that looks just like.
That
the
is the whale's tail.
So we already, the city owns that, right?
Correct.
Yes, we
Yeah.
own that and um, it's zoned open space.
Okay, thank you. I didn't think there could be two whales' tails. It's just like, whoa. Okay,
What we're gonna so as you can imagine, the staff report is going to be quite lengthy. What we did is we've split up and provided a page of information for each of these parcels. So that's going to be in the staff report. It'll be easier for people to drill down and identify if they want to look for information on a specific parcel. They can find that particular parcel in the staff report and then and get some general information on it. So that staff report we're working on this week, and of course, once it's ready, it'll be out and available to the public, and anybody can get on there and look at it, identify any particular property, and find out the information on it.
That's great. I know that's a heck of a lot of work.
It is. It's a lot of detail work. But I know I had heard that this was an effort that has been kind of a long time coming. I know that my predecessor was wanting to get this done while she was here, and it just didn't happen. So we're glad that we're finally, or there's a lot of people that are glad that we're finally getting this done.
Hey, Tim, another question.
Sure.
Fred, could you look at Black Canyon Road coming off of, on this map, it looks like it comes right off of US 24.
Mm-hmm.
And the Black Canyon open space parcel, which is south of Black Canyon Road. Is that correct that the city of Manitou boundary is northeast of Black Canyon Road? I
Let's
can't.
see.
Yep, there you are. Okay,
Right
well, let's
there.
deal with that parcel too. That parcel
Yeah.
was purchased by the city of Manitou
Yeah.
as a part of the Black Canyon open space, but this map would suggest that it's located in what, El Paso County?
That I was looking at that
Okay,
at a municipal map. It appears that parcel is in the city limits of Colorado Springs.
Tim, do you know?
Yes, it was, what's the term when the city takes a parcel?
eminent domain. Eminent.
Annexed?
Annexed. It was annexed. It's part of Manitou Springs now, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, that was my, yeah, okay.
I'll have to
So I-
check. I'll have to
Yeah.
check that out.
But I have both questions, both the parcel that I'll put it this way, we know we own that parcel.
Mhm.
I say with a questioning tone, and it seems like it ought to be in Manitou Springs, and then go northwest of that, cross Black Canyon Road. That parcel right there would seem to be in the Garden of the Gods.
I'm not tracking where you're looking.
I'm looking at
yes.
where Fred has the cursor, that triangular parcel north of Black Canyon Road. I'm just very surprised that's in the city of Manitou.
Just to the left of Garden Drive, Tim.
Yeah, west of Garden Drive, north of Black Canyon, right there. Fred's on it. Anyway,
No, we do not own that property.
no, we don't own it, but in whose jurisdiction does it lie?
Yeah, that according to this map, it's in the city limits of Manitou.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'd check that out. I'm doubtful
Yeah,
that we bought that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll check on this piece, the Black Canyon piece. It looks like that appears to be in the city of Colorado Springs here, and
Yeah.
see what what the deal is with that.
The assessor's site would probably clear that up pretty quickly.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, I think maybe the question is that does Fred need anything from OSAC to support his efforts to rezone these parcels to? Do you need anything from the committee?
A general letter of support always looks good. And it's always good to have that to present to the Planning Commission and City Council, that you were supportive of rezoning these parcels to open space at least. I think that would it like I said, it looks good on the record, and it is I think good to show that that we are in communication with each other on this.
Yeah.
We will do that. We will do that.
Okay.
Won't we, David?
But yeah, it'd just be the question, is there any hesitation on, I don't have enough history with the committee to know, is there any hesitation to adopt a motion supporting the planning department's effort to rezone the dark green parcels to open space?
Yeah, I don't know that we need to do that. They're going through this process right now of deciding what all those pieces are, and they're going to be adding pieces to that and everything else. I'm not sure if that would be of help or not.
Well, Fred just explained they're doing this in the next 2 weeks. They're going to council on March 12th.
Yeah,
I would,
Can we write a letter of support?
yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna write a letter of support. So,
okay.
This is Robin. Should we get a list of the parcels, just like on that little parcel list that we already have? I think some of these are going to be added to that list, and could we get a list of the parcels that are going to be added to the open space so that we on the committee know what's coming in to our purview, so that maybe we could all go out and take a look at more tiny spots that are in our purview.
Yeah.
well, I can tell you that most of them are on the list that we had in the open space parcel evaluation, and getting people to go out and take a look at those took a bit of work.
Well, it looks like there are quite a few parcels that I are new to me that were not on that list. And I think that list was little parcels that were in open space, and we needed to identify them and give our recommendation. But these all look, they're not in open space right now, and then they're going to be put into it. So they would be added.
Yeah, I think that's the question that Robin is asking is, if all these are zoned open space, are we somehow responsible? Do we need to be more thoughtful about managing these? What does that mean? Particularly the small parcels. I mean, the big ones, you can see the Bill Bauer extension, the Fields Park, the Serpentine, the Whale's Tail, Higginbotham, and the water tank. Those all make sense. It's the small ones. Do those impose some liability that we need to be aware of so that we can do our job properly? I think that's the question. I don't know.
I think the answer is yes. And one of the primary things we need to do is to make sure that the fire department has a list of those, and they understand that those are open space property, Manitou Springs property, and that we, open space fire department, Manitou Springs Fire Department, is responsible for fire mitigation on those.
Okay.
I suspect that that's the one big liability issue that we have on those. And some of them are definitely clogged with old dead wood. I would just urge you to be a little cautious about stepping into this before we've taken a hard look at what Fred is doing. And I have a feeling Fred is doing a little bit more cautious and complete work than we were able to do with the open space parcel evaluation. So it will be a big job if we decide that OSAC is going to go around and inspect these properties for OSAC, is what I'm saying. So we've already done this. We've done it with the open space parcel evaluation for a large number of these. I don't say that we got them all, but let's look at what we've got before we decide that we're going to go out and effectively repeat some of Fred's work.
Well, I'm not saying that we do that, but I think that we should at least have a list so that we would at least have some kind of information about if there was a question, we would have identifying information about some little parcel that if someone had a question, we could look at our list and see the parcel on there.
Well, I think in a minute, it sounds like we need to ask Fred to share this map. It's quite helpful. And then the list, well, once his staff prepares the sheet of paper per parcel, that would be really helpful for us to take a look at.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can certainly do that.
Great.
I'll certainly pass over this map, send the map over, as well as like I said, the overviews of each parcel, individual parcel, that's the subject of this rezoning, so you can take a look at it, at them, get a better understanding of where they are, how big they are, and things like that.
Thank you.
Fred excuse me, Fred, is this the zoning map from El Paso County?
No, this is one that we prepared ourselves.
Okay, great.
One more question for Fred. The Higginbotham Flats, isn't that a park? Isn't the park, the park board going to do that? Should that be in parks and not open space, or?
Oh, maybe so.
Well, the same question on Fields. Remember on Fields Park, didn't we approve a resolution letting parks take that over?
Okay.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And that Fields Park, is that over here on the east side?
Far east, the rectangle along the creek.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, you're on it.
That is very good to know. Let me look into both of those. So those might be two
Park.
should be rezoned to parks.
And Fred, let me give you a little more background on that. I mean, the reason for that resolution and coordinating with the Parks Board on the Fields Park was that it's a park, it's right next to the ballpark. It's next to, well, Fields Park, and it just was a natural addition. And it made sense to turn that over to parks and not have OSAC continue to have responsibility, even though OSAC was the one who helped acquire it. Does that sound correct, Tim? Is my memory right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you. That I appreciate that. We'll look into both of those parcels and make sure that we get them identified and zoned correctly.
Hey, Fred.
Yes.
It's Tim. Did you look at all those parts, all those parcels up towards the north escarpment of Red Mountain? There's a zillion tiny lots up there. That some of them are open space, some of them aren't. A lot of them are owned by Manitou Springs, but not necessarily zoned open space. There's a tremendous amount of work that could be done in that area.
Yeah, we did look at we did look at those. There I think there's 3 parcels that are under contract right now, and are gonna be acquired by the city. Those
Right.
are not part of this exercise because we don't own them yet. But the other parcels, there's a few other parcels, yeah, on the north slope of Red Mountain. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but there's a couple small ones here. And a few other little slivers like that are part of that we're proposing to rezone in this exercise. But there are also quite a few there are also quite a few parcels that the city owns that are already zoned as open space. And so we're leaving those alone. And so that, like I said, that's what this map does not show, and that actually that might be helpful to put together as an exhibit, is the current zoning of city-owned parcels. There's a lot of parcels that are already zoned open space on the north slope.
Yeah, if you could have another overlay, that'd be neat.
Yeah, yeah. So that would be helpful to show. But yes, we did that.
Okay. Anything more for Fred while we got him here? This is like spotting a unicorn. Take advantage of it while you can. Okay, Fred. Well, thank you very much for coming out tonight. We certainly appreciate your time.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, just let me know, but I will get that information to y'all.
Thanks.
Okay, well, let's move on. And moving on means that we go back and pick up the minutes that we were supposed to review. And that'll take us to chair preface, and then September 23, 2024 minutes. On page 4 of 65. Okay. Does anybody have any comments or changes for those minutes? Yes, David.
Yeah, I do. I didn't understand why. I need to note, I did not attend this meeting, but under item F is in Frank, under old business, item 1, item 2, we just have question marks. And since these are minutes, I don't think we need question marks. Apparently nothing was said on item 1, item 2, item.
No, that's not it. I have to apologize for that. I put the question marks in there because we lost Nancy Wilson at that point. Nancy hadn't come back in as an adjunct.
Oh, I see, right there at F. Okay, I just didn't know what that meant. It just seemed kind of odd for minutes to have question marks as to what happened. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just a placeholder for the virtual Nancy Wilson.
So what does it mean?
It means, she had not been replaced yet.
Huh.
In the list of people responsible for that topic. Perhaps I can.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, Tim. I'm sorry.
Doesn't. Well, Nancy had quit OSAC at that point, to the best of my knowledge, and she came back in as a non-regular member of OSAC later on. So at this point, we did not have a person to drop into that slot for Nancy Wilson. Nobody was accepting that role.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll write something. Okay.
Okay.
This is. Does that not make sense still?
Well, yeah, I don't mean to be petty about that. These are minutes. And so we have question marks. Did Judy do something? I don't know. She's got a question mark. Did Tim do anything on Fields Park? I don't know. He's got a question mark. I mean, just
Okay. I thought I'd just explain that, David.
okay. Well, if
I'll go.
it makes sense to everybody else, I withdraw my question. I have no idea what.
It was just shorthand for me to say that Nancy is no longer. In fact, there's a note up there that says note, question marks, placeholders for Nancy Wilson. Okay, I'll see if I can come up with something that makes sense for everybody. Let's move on that. I'll take a note to send Rhonda a note on that, and maybe just take that out with the comma, and that'll take care of that. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
I have a question about.
Yes.
This is on page 6, Bill Bauer Trail Development. And then in light print, it says possible hiccup in the donation of Larry Rose since the planning.
Yeah, I can't understand you. You're kind of.
Oh, sorry. Where it says status, Tim, Andrea, and Robin, Jillian was contacted by a concerned party about trail maintenance right there. The next paragraph, it says there's a possible.
Can you give me a number?
Yeah. It's 3A, right at the top of page 6.
Three A. Okay, we've got.
So where it says
old business, item F.
A.
Yeah, it's F3. Yeah, F3A.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And it says there's a possible hiccup.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Do we have, is there somewhere anybody who has a follow-up on that?
Well, there's not really much of a follow-up. It just, we were hoping to get an additional acreage of land to go with Bill Bauer because of that pinch point.
Right.
And that does not look like that's going to happen anytime soon, if at all, because the city would not approve his.
Okay, just a second. Hold on. I don't want to draw some causality there because I don't know that that's the case. He did go down to try to get. We're talking about Larry Rose that owns that property in Bill Bauer's Park. I actually exchanged messages from him just the other day, and I still need to catch up with him to have a live talk. But one of his messages was, "I still plan to do that," and the conversation was around getting that parcel of land either granted as an easement or ownership over to OSAC, over to the city of Manitou Springs as an open space parcel. So that's still alive and well. Okay.
Okay.
And I am in contact with Mr. Rose. Good catch. And David, I probably need to introduce you to the man.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I'll try to set that up. Okay.
Hey, Jim, I'm just wondering if we did the first part of the meeting stuff that was on the agenda, like with the approval of minutes and whatnot.
I'm sorry.
Did we go through the approval of minutes and stuff, just the first things that were in the agenda that we skipped over?
We're doing that. We're doing that right now.
Oh, excuse me, thanks.
These are the minutes.
So you need a motion from somebody. Or do you want to withdraw that and make revisions to the September minutes?
I think what we will do is we have a number of minutes that we've,
Deferred?
do we really have any minutes that we have to agree to on this? I think we just have some, as far as the question marks go, I don't think we need a motion on that to correct
Okay.
basically a typo. Is there something else that we need minutes on? The thing about Mr. Rose, I think, was just an explanation. I don't think it changes the minutes.
No.
Have
All
I
right,
missed
so can
something?
I just go ahead and move that we accept these minutes with the deletion of the question marks?
Yeah, we can do that, but let's finish with the minutes. Okay.
Well, let's get moving.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's right.
We're working on it.
Well, I'll second the motion.
We'll hold it.
I don't have
Does
any.
anybody else have any further comments to make on these minutes?
Nope.
Okay, now can we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I already moved and you went to discussion. Now I need a second and a vote, right?
And I'll second it again, TJ.
Thank you.
Everybody, please raise your hand if you agree with this. Thank you.
I vote yes,
Thank
since
you,
you can't
TJ.
see my visual.
Okay, and did we just go through one or two sets of minutes?
That was the 23rd September.
No, that was all September 23, okay. And we're once again behind on our minutes. They weren't able to get them to us, but they will get them to us the next time around. Okay, so that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now back up to
Paul. We should do Paul next. Poor guy's been sitting there.
good grief. Alternates. We are now back to E. And if Paul is still hanging in there with us, let's get Paul, thank you very much for joining us. And I think the rule is you have to put up with one session of OSAC. So we haven't wasted too much of your time. And can you give us a short bio on yourself? And I think everybody's had the chance to look at your resume and application. So please go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I've sat through a lot of these meetings, so nothing new. I guess I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, lived in Indianapolis for about 25 years. My wife and I moved here in January of last year, so just over a year now. Obviously, the reason for moving to Colorado was more access for recreation, getting closer to the mountains. While I was in Indiana, Indiana is very different than Colorado. There's 5% public land, a lot less culture on outdoor recreation. So those of us that cared about outdoor recreation had to get pretty involved. I was a part of an advocacy group, and as that group advocated for trails early on, we were told by land managers, we don't have staff, we don't have funding for trails, you would have to build your own trails. So the group I was involved with really was both an advocacy group and a trail building group. And really over the course of about 20 years, built about 125 miles of trail. And we really were kind of the leading trail building organization in Indiana. So moving out here, obviously I want to continue to be involved. I spent the last year just trying to get to know the area. I've been to work days with Renfee and Cascade Group, the Peaks Trail Cats. Couple did the crew trainer class with Colorado Springs. So just kind of getting my feet wet and getting to kind of understand the area. Obviously don't want to come in like from the outside and like it's going to take a while to kind of get the feel of the area, what the community wants, and then how I could help you guys. But a lot of experience with running volunteers. We did 100% of maintenance on state park trails with volunteers, including chainsaw work. We managed professional trail builders, so we were the ones running the contracts for professional trail builders. And I think there's a huge opportunity to be better engaged with volunteers and take advantage of that. And then that there's funds I feel like you guys are spending to pay other people to do trail maintenance that you could get volunteers to do. I think volunteer trail work's very similar to some of the tasks that are needed for fire mitigation. So I think there's a big opportunity to leverage the local community and volunteers to help and get the community more engaged with open spaces.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Hopefully people have taken some time to look at your application and resume. It's pretty impressive. People, do you have questions for Paul? Members? Anybody? No? One thing that struck me, Paul, with the amount of experience you have and your interest in building trails, hopefully you'll find us interesting enough to want to be a member of. We are not trail builders. We hire people to build trails. So, and we certainly don't build trails outside of Manitou Springs property. That's not our thing either. So but you've got a lot of other people that you can pick and choose from to add to your activities if you want to. And the next step will be that we will have a vote on your membership. And that will happen at the March meeting. And after that vote on the membership, either I or David Conley, who will be the next chairperson, will contact you and ask you and let you know what the vote was and ask you to at that point, most likely, to join the meeting.
Tim, can I ask why we can't do that right now and just recommend to council that when they do their vote? I mean, do you want to give people time to review or?
Well, I think we should have a little time to talk about this. I don't think there's going to be any great dissent on this, but we usually give a little time for people to talk on this. I don't think it hurts.
Can I make a motion right now to recommend to council that they approve him for a OSAC committee member?
Is this an alternate?
As an alternate, yes.
Okay.
We can go ahead and do that if you like.
I'd second that.
Okay, everybody raise your hand if you're in favor
Don't
of
look, Paul. Close
accepting
your eyes, Paul.
Paul right now at this. Okay, thank you.
I vote yes.
Tough bunch.
Okay, we had a member revolt and for good reason, and that's fine.
Before I wise up and change my mind, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to give you too long to do that.
No.
Okay, that's great. All right, thank you very much, Paul, and welcome.
Thank you.
We'll notify the appropriate people and make sure that you're notified of your acceptance. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, we're
Old business.
going past
Black Canyon?
Black Canyon, just a second. And over to, yeah, we got a couple of changes to the Black Canyon open space document. I hope you've taken a look at this, and this will go quickly as well. There were some significant changes, but nothing that's difficult to understand. Has everybody had a chance to review this?
Yep.
Has anybody had a chance to review this? Yes, good. Does anybody have any objections to these? Okay, then can we get a motion to accept the changes for the Black Canyon open space master plan?
I'll make that motion that we accept the revisions to the Black Canyon Open Space Master Plan following the suggestions from council members at the work session.
I will second.
Show of hands for everybody in favor. 3. Again, we have a.
I vote yes.
Okay, we have a unanimous vote on that. So skipping down to
Oh, Bauer.
Bill Bauer.
Yeah.
Bill Bauer, yeah. Okay, what did everybody think about this?
I liked the addition of the last question. But otherwise, I liked all the questions. I had no other additional input to add.
Okay, we're only voting on what's in the questionnaire right now. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Can you remind us how is this? Where does this questionnaire go? Who gets it? How's it being distributed? Is it to the neighbors? Is it the community? Is it just kind of thrown up on the website, or is it actually targeted in any way? I just don't remember.
Will actually be on the website. I believe Cassandra is the person that manages that. Robin, do you have anything to say about that? How this is being distributed? And
I believe that we wanted to get especially all the neighbors who border the park. And I'm not sure how Cassandra is going to, they may, I'm not sure how they're going to, how the city is going to do that. So, but I think we do want, the questionnaire to be addressed by all the neighbors up against that park.
that's for certain. And we also want, I believe we talked about this, we also want a mileage from the canyon kind of metric, so that we know what data we're getting from the people that live actually on the canyon or further off or whatever. That's probably something we need to talk about a little bit more with Cassandra, and probably something we need to vote on as well. So let's vote on the questions at this point, and then we can take up the distribution issues as a separate item. Does that sound reasonable? Yes, no?
Okay.
Okay, so if you've read the questionnaire and have no issues with those questions, I'm sorry, we need to make a motion on that, please.
Oh, can I make a motion to accept the Bill Bauer open space questionnaire?
This is Andrea. I second that.
Everybody in favor, raise your hand, please. And again, we have a unanimous vote.
I vote yes.
I see it. Great. Let's move on to,
Oh, can I ask one question about Bill Bauer?
of course.
Judy, do you know if Mike Willie and the fire department looked at Bill Bauer? That was not in the, when we walked through Bill Bauer, it seemed quite overgrown. And so I'm wondering if the fire department looked at that parcel. Do you know, Judy?
I do not know, but I can ask him, I can let you know.
Okay, if you could ask him, that'd be great.
Those, the lots that we own are either zoned open space or in the process of being open space. And I believe, oh, I'm sorry, I'm back on that again, never mind.
Well, but maybe because it's not zoned open space, but it's still Manitou property. So
Yeah, no, that's
the
fine.
fire department would still look at it.
I was back on the zoning, not the fire. Yeah.
I guess I wonder if they haven't because it's so gnarly back there. It's hard
Well,
to.
there are just a lot of houses on both sides of that property. I just, when we went back there, I thought, to me, I would think you'd want to mitigate that.
Yeah, that'd be a big call. It'd be really tough.
Well,
We're going to have a lot more talking to do about this.
yeah, it's city property, and so mitigation responsibility is still with the city. A trail would make it a little easier for them to do that mitigation as well in the future, so something else to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Tim,
Yes.
can we go back to the distribution on this distribution question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure there is some graphic, some map or something that provides respondents to this questionnaire with some context of, what are we looking at? What are we talking about? So I don't know what that graphic is and whether it's available, that shows what does this, where Bill Bauer's Park is and what the additional acquisition property is. Something. There's got to be a map.
We do have those maps. Yes.
Okay. If we can make sure Cassandra does that, they got to be tied together. Otherwise, we're asking people to evaluate something in a vacuum.
Yeah, of course, the people that live on it know where it's at, but there's going to be a lot more people that are responding to this. I'm sure. Cassandra's got some idea about how to get this distributed.
Given Robin's comments, which a couple of other committee members have shared, we really want this neighborhood, Crystal Hills, to respond. I think we got to hear from Cassandra. How does she push this to those residents?
Yes.
Okay, I'm like Robin. I don't know how she does that. I don't know how Cassandra does that.
Well, yeah, they may, they may go door to door eventually to make sure that they've gotten an opinion from all of those neighbors, with whose backyards are against it, who butt up against it. But
I wanted to get this moving, and that's why I wanted to do the questionnaire and get that back to Cassandra, and then we can work on the next step of it, which is the distribution. Okay.
Well, are you saying it's not going to happen until the next meeting? Or is this thing going to go out?
No, it's probably not going to happen until the next meeting. There's no huge rush with this. We don't have the property. Um, and like I said, Larry Rose is still saying that he intends to do that, to deed us the property or access to the property. And at that point, then it makes sense to start talking again about multi-use trails, whatever. Any other comments on that? Okay, well, let's move on to this next little little detail. And I'll explain this again. And you guys will tell me whether or not you want to bother with this. If you look at the map, just to the left of Bill Bauer Park at the bottom, you can see where Crystal Park Boulevard takes off and heads up to the north. Do you see where I'm talking about?
Yeah, but what map?
If you're familiar with Crystal Hills Boulevard, that goes up, passes a little street called Palisades Circle, and then goes around a big curve to the left. And most of us have walked that trail, probably biked it a few times, I have. And it's the one part of Crystal Hills Boulevard where it doesn't make sense to say this is a multi-use in the sense of pedestrians, bicyclists, and automobiles. That whole road is marked for that as a multi-use on-street trail. I don't think they use that term, but that term is used in the post. So the question I've had in is, and I've had it out there for a couple of years now, to the MAP people, MAP group, is can we get the west side of Crystal Hills Boulevard from where it goes underneath Highway 24 up to Palisades Circle, lined so that there's a, say, 4 or 5 foot pedestrian / uphill bicycle route, a safe pedestrian bicycle route coming up that hill. And I took this up with Dole Grabednik a couple of years ago, and he said, yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that. And he actually had Juan Alvarez come down. Juan Alvarez is now the head of the MAP division. And Juan also said it was a good idea at that time. And then it just disappeared as an issue, as an idea. And I haven't been able to get an answer out of them yet. I may get that. I'm going to the MAP board later on this week. I may get an answer from them. But anyway, the idea is here. This might not look like a OSAC thing right now, but if we run into a problem where we can't get a downhill mountain bike trail into Bill Bauer Park, that would provide the access, if that's what people are interested in, from the top of Bill Bauer Park to the bottom of Bill Bauer Park. It's a safe route. And
yeah, Tim, I just want to jump in real quick. I mean, I appreciate the trail connectivity like element here, but it does seem like it's not an OSAC thing. It's just, I mean, this seems like a streets transportation mobility kind of thing, not like an OSAC thing, is it's not really connected to the trail, unless eventually, yeah, the Bill Bauer thing does succeed.
Right. What I was suggesting is that we put a question into the
Questionnaire.
That says this: would you support completion of the Crystal Hills Boulevard multi-user roadway by lining a safe pedestrian bike lane on the west side of Crystal Hills Boulevard from Palisades Circle to the highway. I would like to know if people care about that, if they want that. And that might affect whether or not the transportation people actually put the time and money into doing that.
I mean, our transportation people over in that area have no problem with putting signs up all over the place, with putting speed bumps in, with putting now the speed cameras that are coming in and stuff like that. I don't think that this is an OSAC issue. And if the neighbors want that sort of on-street access, they can go ahead and talk to Roy and have this get done on their own. But I don't think OSAC should be weighing in on this.
Okay. I thought that was what people might say. The way it does become an OSAC issue is if we can't get access to the multi-use trail property that we need, and then maybe it becomes
happens. That's a way in the future sort of issue too. So yeah, definitely not this, and definitely not in this this sort of survey adding a question there, which would really aim to cut the knees out from underneath the project.
I wasn't looking at it that way, but okay.
Yeah, I hear
Right.
that.
All right, so we will drop that as an issue, if it ever was one. It was mainly my desire to get that taken care of, and that's fine. I don't mind dropping that. And at that point, I think we're done with the meeting. And
You've got existing trails development.
I don't think we need a motion on that. It was never an item that needed to be voted on or dropped or anything else. It was just an idea, a thought. Could we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
There's another item, Tim.
Yeah.
There's another what?
Item. Existing trails development, Andrea and David, and then Josh Farmer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can jump on to that with Andrea too.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Okay. This is that first switchback above Wildcat Gulch on Inman Trail westbound from Crystal Park Road. And it's a couple of folks have identified that as a potential problem that could take out the tread. The Manitou Cats or the Pikes Peak Cats did their scheduling meeting last Saturday, and they agreed to apply some energy to this. And the tentative plan is that there's going to be a site visit on, I believe it's March 3rd in the afternoon. So it's Monday, March 3rd. I can circulate that date or have Jillian do that. With Shanti Toll, myself, and a few others from CATS. Paul, if that depends on what your work schedule is, Paul, but you're certainly welcome to join that. And it's just to get a number of eyes on it and throw out, get a little more technical of what do we want to do. It's either going to be a wood beam repair to support the outside edge, or it's going to be a small rock wall. But there'll be more to come on that one. And Andrea, I don't know, do you have anything else on that or other repair comments elsewhere on your list right now?
No, that's the only project that we've been talking about, and you definitely have a much more updated version on that. Thank you.
Okay.
So David, is that going to mean we can all show up if we want to?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know how the open meetings restrictions apply.
No, we would have to, I mean, we could do that. We'd have to plan it as a meeting and
Okay.
have minutes on it and that whole business.
Yeah, but
Is there a time set yet?
Excuse me.
I don't I'm doing it from memory, Judy, because I'm not at my office. I'm out of town right now. I'm thinking it's 4 p.m. on March 3, Monday afternoon. Let me, while Josh is talking, I'm going to scroll down into my phone and I can find that confirmation on that. So I'm going to mute and go do that.
Okay, and maybe there's a meeting place there too, where everybody's going.
Yeah, well, it's right there at the trailhead, at the Inman Trailhead on Crystal Park Road. So I'm going to mute and go find that, and I'll get back on.
Okay.
So we're going to, someone is going to alert the city to put up a public notice of an OSAC meeting.
Are we going to do that as a public meeting?
Well, I think that would be best to cover in case more than 2 of us show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just covers
we'll
us.
do that. David, we're at the end of the meeting here.
No, Josh, it says
That's
Josh
okay.
Farmer.
We'll, when this is published as a meeting, they'll inform everybody on OSAC. So you'll get the date at that point. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I thank you for catching me on that we still had an item to go. Does anybody have anything else to say at this meeting?
Josh, are you supposed to speak?
Jillian just wanted me to pass on a couple of updates on what the Parks Department's got going on. She wanted to let you all know that the Adopt a Park applications are open for all the parks, the trails, and open spaces. The only trail that's been adopted so far is Red Mountain.
I figured.
Yeah. And then also we plan on planting more trees in our open spaces this year. Don't have the exact locations, but we plan on planting more trees, definitely. I think one of the places right now that we're looking at is the Zero Becker's Lane at Fields Park area, try to incorporate some more trees around in that. And then also we're kind of low on park staff at the moment. So we are currently holding interviews for 2 parks maintenance workers and also our seasonal park maintenance workers, because the season's coming up pretty fast. And then also the Wildcat Gulch, which has already been touched on. So that's really all that I have to pass on at this time. So if anybody has any questions.
Do you advertise at the colleges for seasonal workers?
We do. We just attended a job fair, an outdoor recreation job fair through the Pikes Peak Workforce. So yeah, we're definitely putting, application or self out there.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which trail did you say had already been adopted?
The Red Mountain Trail.
Red, okay.
And who adopted that, if you know, Josh?
I don't know off the top of my head, sorry.
Okay. So that means what? They do just minor maintenance and policing trash and so forth, or what?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's what they I think it's a couple hours every month that they have
Okay.
to spend up there.
If they find homeless camps, they just call it in, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, I think we have reached the end of the evening. And if we could get a motion to adjourn and a second.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
I actually, Tim, I just have one comment I want to throw in. Sorry, on those, the last minutes we just approved. That's when I asked for more time with OSAC material before the meeting.
Yep.
And here it comes Friday night, I don't know if she pushes the button as she's walking out the door, but Friday night, here comes this huge package again. And obviously, most of us have read the Black Canyon Open Space Master Plan, but now here are changes. I think we need to set, if it's more than pages, we would like to get it by Wednesday or something where we're not getting this over a weekend when maybe we're not even home.
Judy, hold on a second. There was a note up front in the preface that said, hey, you're going to get another copy of the Black Canyon Open
Yeah,
Space
yeah.
Master Plan.
Right.
You don't have to reread all of this. You only had to look at about 3 paragraphs to figure out whether or not
Okay.
you're going to vote on that.
Okay.
And you were the one that put in the late packet for.
Well, I
Mr.
just got it. I couldn't help that.
Oh, I understand, but that's what happens.
Yeah, no,
That-
I understand that, but I'm just saying if we set a maximum under pages or something where we could say, okay, if it's more than 15 pages, 20 pages, I think it would be,
Just need more time. I get it. I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, yeah, okay.
Okay, I think we're adjourned.
We need to have,
Thank you very much, people.
thanks.
Thank you guys.